What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to try to just take you with me while I'm getting some work done, mainly because I got a new camera and I want to play with it. All right, so I just got an Osmo Pocket 3, which is like what all the fancy kids are using nowadays for vlogging. And I really wanted a camera that's like super packable, easy to use, and I have no excuses to just whip it out and start filming. And this thing is pretty amazing. It's like literally this big. It's got a camera screen that I'm looking at. I can do things like just flip the camera around just like that and be able to kind of capture people, interview people. And on top of that, it came with this great DJI mic. So we're gonna have better audio, better video, and start producing some more content for you guys. So I really appreciate everybody's feedback on the first video, which was kind of just like a vlog, day in the lifetime video. A lot of people just liked it was raw, uncut, and bare bones. I think a lot of people are getting really sick and tired of high edited video content, like AI edits and fast cuts. And so I'm gonna keep this kind of similar, raw, uncut, and kind of just jam a little bit, maybe vent a little bit too, because let's be honest, guys, sometimes as business owners, we just got to vent. So you might hear a little bit of that from me today. So if you're anything like me, you're a little bit lazy. I like to say I'm efficient, but reality is I'm lazy and I optimize for my laziness. So part of why the idea of getting a new camera is that I want to make it way easier for me to produce content, and content that's actually somewhat decent. And so as soon as I saw this camera, I was like, this is perfect for me, for a bunch of different reasons. One purchase, I get the mic, which is great. I got better quality now. Another reason is this thing has a sweet gimbal feature where I can move and it will follow me around. So I can like put it down and shoot content like wherever I am, and it feels like somebody's filming me, which is kind of awesome. So my goal is to pump out way more content with this thing as much as possible. Right now my office is an absolute mess and I'm procrastinating from getting stuff done, realistically. So, which is why I'm setting up this camera so I don't have to do what's on my screen right now. So, let's get into some work and, let's talk about what that looks like. So, right now, my main focus and kind of what I'm prioritizing to get done is building out a better system for our placement services. And so in agency closers, like I've mentioned, the whole point of all this content is to document. So here we are. But agency closers, 50% of our business right now is placement services. And so what does that look like is ideally if you're an agency owner and or a coaching offer, we work with both on the placement side, but when it comes to the training and like the actual coaching and management side, I only focus on B2B. But if you are a coach and or educator or a agency looking for top talent when it comes to closing and or setters, we can place them right into your business for you. You pay a fee. We place them within a few weeks into your business. They've gone through agency closers kind of training system so that they're B2B certified. And we get them set up on your offer. And so that's been a really fun part of the business, but it's obviously comes with its own headaches and systems that we have to build out, which we're building. But like many businesses, you start to break shit. And so we're at a point right now where I've broken shit and we're fixing it. So here we are fixing what we have broken. It's one thing to manage interviewing and sifting through like 50 closers that come in. But at this point, we've got hundreds of closers and setters that have come through our ecosystem. And now it's becoming a bit of a mess to use basic systems. And so I've basically been spending the last couple of days just revamping everything and getting everything into a better place so that I can manage more talent and place people faster. My goal is to be like the number one place to go for everything agencies related, whether it's training on sales, management on sales, and or placing talent into sales. And so I'm very confident we're gonna be able to do that. I just got to build up the systems to do that. All right, so we just time traveled. I've fast forwarded through basically all the boring stuff of I'm building out this system within ClickUp right now. And actually kind of crazy. I am not a techie person. I'm very much a deal closed. Let's go. I'm very much a people person, and I like to just talk to people, and that's my focus. So I'm getting good at being more technical when it comes to things like systems. Everybody has their weak points, and that's one of my weak points. But the great thing is we have things like ChatGPT. And so yesterday I realized I had no excuse, sat down and I actually asked ChatGPT give me a system for dummies and how to set it up within ClickUp. And I was able to make a whole bunch of sick optimizations into our ClickUp board. through using ChatGPT to walk me through it. It's kind of crazy. It's like having this like big sister that holds your hand to walk you through things. If ChatGPT is a sister for you, is ChatGPT a girl for you or a boy for you? Like, that's such a random thought. So now that that portion of work is done, I'm going to be going on to kind of the next stage of my day. So just for context, it's the evening right now. I worked for 6 hours at Bad Marketing, taking sales calls and working at Bad. And now I'm working on agency closer. So I have already had one coaching call with Carson. We talked about follow-up and closing call and optimizing his pitch. And now I'm getting into, I just went through a bit of a setting placement phase where I was working on just getting people, working with our team to get talent placed faster and setting up systems like I just talked about. But now we're headed into one of my favorite parts of the day, which is where majority of progress happens for our members within Agency Closers, which is call reviews. So basically all of our sales reps will record all their calls using Fathom. This is wonderful Kaya. She's an absolute machine. They send it to me. I watch their entire call from start to finish, and then I give them feedback on different parts of their call that they need to improve on. For an example of this, I got feedback from Carson today that he's learning probably the most from the call reviews. I sit down, record a Loom video, and I go over in detail about things that you need to work on within your sales process, whether it's tonality, whether it's a skill, whether it's a word track, or maybe it's a structural issue or a frame issue. And I'm able to give you guys regular feedback on a weekly basis through call reviews, which I absolutely love. I am not a huge fan of like some of these like call review systems that people are building through AI where you get a write-up from Fathom about what you could have improved on. It's not there yet. And so I am actually sitting in the seat, watching those calls, giving you feedback. And to me, this is where clients stay with us for so long. And that's why people do so well, is because we have this type of level of detail when it comes to feedback that's provided. So that's kind of a bit of behind the scenes. I've got 4 call reviews to do right now before I break for dinner. It's currently 7:30, so I'm going to see if I can crank this out in the next hour and a half and then get to it. Side note, I'm curious, when you guys are in deep work, what do you listen to? Or do you listen to anything? Because for me, I throw my blue light blockers on, which I hate recording in, and then I dive into, what am I listening to today? Today, I've chosen Focus Deep House Mix, and it's absolutely been banger. I throw my hood on, I turn the lights off like they're already off, and I get to it. And so I'm basically going to sit down and hammer out these call reviews, and maybe I'll give you guys a sneak peek. So one of my favorite things that you did on this call, Kaya, is you started off this call really strong, and you had this great authority when beginning the call and taking leadership of the call. But at the same time of having that authority, you maintain this like really natural energy. And I know you and I have been going back and forth a lot about energy and how to be able to manage like professionalism versus having fun on calls. And I think you did a really, really good job showcasing that. There was moments in Discovery where you're asking detailed questions, you're challenging, you're leaning back, you kind of have this like relaxed energy about you, yet you're hitting them with hard-hitting questions. And I think that's a really, really great place to be. I think you're coming full stride right now in your process where you're able to kind of have a ton of fun in your process while still getting the job done in a really direct and specific way. And so far in looking through this Discovery, like you're in a really, really good spot. I'm kind of going back and forth to try to find some items. And I think that your tonality is great, your energy is great, and you've done a great job kind of keeping track. The only thing I would have done is this guy started the call, you asked your first question, and then he received a phone call. And at that point, after he gets off the phone call, he was there, maybe he had a phone call for like 2-3 minutes. I would have loved to see you check with him of like, hey, is now a good time? And not to be respectful of his time, but to kind of make him aware that you're aware that he's kind of like wasting your time. And so ideally you're coming across of a place like, hey, is now a good time? Or like, do we need to reschedule? And like, not like you're irritated, but you're direct, showing him that like, you kind of care that he was on the phone while you guys were trying to have a conversation. And the reason why I say that is the goal of it is to basically reestablish tone of like, hey, this is a serious phone conversation and I want to make sure I have all of your energy so that he doesn't do it again. And I think that's an important part of maintaining control like we talk about so much on these calls. So just finished up that call review for Kaya. She's been with me for like 6 months now within the program. She's a killer closer. She still closes in the local marketing niche. And one of the things that we've been working a lot on with her is finding this balance. She comes across very professional, but at the same time, she has this great personality. I think that she can show off more on calls. But in the niche that she's in, the industry is very like kind of like egotistical, big-headed dudes. And so there's this fine balance of like her having to play hardball, but also be taken seriously. And so there's that kind of line you just got to walk. And she does an incredible job at it. She plays this perfect line of being very, very professional, having fun, kind of like poking at people, but also being able to challenge them, which is a very hard skill to come across. And she's done an incredible job at it. And so, yeah, this call is basically just a consistency call, I call it, or review, where like she did a great job. And there's a couple things that we can do better, of course, but I'm a huge believer in like when a closer is doing well, let's keep that momentum for like going forward. So I've given her like a few different suggestions on what she can do to optimize some things, maybe tweak a couple things, giving her some ideas to think about for her next call. But my main focus was to boost conviction, build a lot of, momentum for her on calls. And so this was just a very, very positive call review. If you're constantly giving negative feedback in your call reviews, it will become really old really quickly, and you can actually hurt your sales team. I've been on sales teams where managers are just hounding us with bad negative feedback, and it is not a fun place to be. Rundown on what the consulting package would look like, just so you have a bit of an idea. And then you have a little bit more, context, and then we can go back and forth on when we actually have a chance to hop on a call together and go over it in more detail. But basically what this is going to include is that you're going to get a hour-long session with Eddie. Well, that was nice. Got a really quick random call from a prospect that just came in and is looking for some consulting. So some of you guys maybe don't know this, and you guys maybe should be doing this, but within bad marketing, I can sell basically anything. And so one of the things that I'm able to sell is actually Eddie's time for consulting. And so people will come in and have like a very specific problem that they need to solve within their brand, their agency, a whole bunch of niches that Eddie's worked with. And so they'll come in, pay for an hour of his time and fix that main problem. And so this call was about that specifically, is of setting them up with a consulting call one-on-one with Eddie, which will allow them to be able to break through some bottlenecks. Time and time, everybody I've ever set up with consulting with Eddie directly has told me that it's been worth 10x the investment. Hack for you guys though. If you are wanting to get to know and become friends with some of these like bigger names in the space, the best thing that you could do is pay for their time for a consulting call. It's the easiest way to get into somebody's ecosystem. And then what ends up happening is you have rapport, you have trust, you have their contact information. And then over time, you can build a really great relationship. Most of the people that are really close with Eddie and in our circle have paid for the mastermind, for example, and our agency closers, and are now part of our ecosystem, part of our friends, they're part of our community. But it started in a like business kind of relationship. And it's actually interesting because a lot of people are like, don't do business with friends. It's like a bad idea. But what it's kind of funny and people don't really talk about is majority of us started working with people we didn't know and are now extremely close friends doing business together. The best way to do that is sometimes just to buy into these communities, and then you have way more access that way. All right, so just finished up my call reviews. Got 3 to 4 done, or kind of 3.5, I'll call it, done. Everybody's doing a really great job. I really enjoy this part of working with closers and agency owners. Today it was 3 agency owners and 1 closer, car dealership niche, local contracting niche, e-com niche, and then info niche. Those are kind of the four different closers and agency owners that are reviewed today. The call reviews for me are like, yes, it's part of our process and what you get when you join AC, but for me, it's the best way that I can keep an eye on what's going on with everybody within their agency. I can know what their energy's at. I can see how they're performing. I can see if they're like all over the place mentally. So that way on our one-on-one calls, we have a lot of stuff that we can talk about and be very, very productive. So I really enjoy doing call reviews, and it's one of the things I never really want to pass off because it's one of my favorite things about working with closers and stuff. So today was really productive. We got a lot done on the placement side, a lot done on the coaching side, and as well got some decent stuff done on the bad marketing side. So all in all, really great, productive day, which I'm really happy about. So before I kind of sign off here, I know this was a relatively short one. Before I sign off here, I want to give you guys a little bit of insight on what I'm going to be working on here in the future on YouTube specifically. I really enjoy making content, especially long form. I feel like people's personalities really come out in long form, and you can't really have that same experience through short form content. So my goal is to produce as much YouTube content as possible over the next year. And it's going to be a big mixture of like training on like how to handle objections, how to do better discovery, our framework, so on and so forth, placement, hiring, all of that stuff. But I also want to start shooting more like content like this, where it's just following me along, give you an idea of what's going on with my day, and kind of shed an insight on who I am as a person. Obviously, my goal is to be able to work with as many people as possible in the agency world, and I think that this style of content is the best when it comes to being able to connect with people and showcasing personality and expertise and so on and so forth. So my goal is to produce a lot more of content like this specifically, but I have a lot going on over the next 3 months, which I'm really looking forward to bringing you guys along with. Part of why I got this new camera set up, as at the end of this month, May, as of right now, it is May 15th, I will be heading out to Mexico for Agency Founder Accelerator, which is our high ticket mastermind that Eddie Malouf runs. And so we have our Agency Founder event in January, and then everybody who's a part of our ongoing mastermind AFA then goes to a summer mastermind event where we all go to some sort of a mansion or resort and collaborate with like a smaller group of like 30 to 40 people. So this year we're going to this insane 5-star resort in Mexico on a golf course, all inclusive. This place is insane. And so we're all heading out there on the 29th or the end of this month, basically. And I'll be flying out to give a presentation on sales to the group and then do a Q&A on anybody and kind of help people with whatever they need in the sales process. So I am going to come and bring you guys along on that trip. So I'm basically going to document it and going through basically flying out there. I'm going to interview a bunch of the guys and ideally make a really great piece of long form content for y'all that you can kind of get a bit of an inside look at what these events look like. And I think that'd be really fun. And then after that, going into June, I've got a really great kind of boys trip / we could call it even a mastermind if you wanted to, with a couple of my buddies. We're heading out to Colorado, staying in this kick-ass B&B and just kind of hanging out. And so I'm planning on interviewing both of them for you guys. They're both hyper successful entrepreneurs, one in the coaching space and then one in the agency space. So I'm looking forward to introducing you to those guys. And then I'm also going on a road trip the next month where I'm going to be working remotely out of campsites, basically, and bring you guys along for that whole journey. I do it every single year, and it's a ton of fun. Me and my wife go on a big road trip. I'll be gone for like 10-something days, and I'll be working remotely. So I'm really looking forward to that experience. There's something about being on the road working that just kind of is inspiring to me. So I'm looking forward to that time of year. But lots going on. So aside from like sales calls, call reviews, content being put out on YouTube, I'm also going to be giving you guys a lot of kind of random content around my life. So looking forward to that. I appreciate you guys watching. Honestly, really appreciate the comments. So many of you guys have been giving me so much love in the comments, and I see every single one of them, and I'm going to respond to every single one of them. It's small right now, but I know it'll grow. I know like 2 comments isn't a big deal, but it's a big deal to me. So I appreciate you guys. If you are enjoying this content, comment down below, throw me a subscribe. That'd be amazing. And follow along for this journey as I build agency closers and continue to crush at bad marketing. Appreciate you all, and go collect some cash.